So tilt is the biggest killer in all your trading profits, your trading journey, your trading career. Tilt will be the one thing that will destroy you physically, mentally, and spiritually. And today I want to go over that. That is exactly why today we are going to go over why traders go on tilt and how to stop destroying weeks of progress in one bad trade. Now, you like these videos. The first one we did was last week, got some good comments. And I like the process of you can see it visually and audibly as well. Okay, so what we're going to go over today, overview, what we're going to learn. First, what is tilt? What really is tilt? Many people speak about it in the industry, but what actually is it? The hidden mechanism behind tilt, the conscious and subconscious wave battle, which this is on a deeper level, how tilt destroys the feedback loop, the identity crash, which not a lot of people speak about, why you take it personally when you obviously trade in, the tilt recovery framework, which you're going to really want to stick around for. And then as always, we're going to do the close. Now, there's going to be some new subscribers. We absolutely love the new subscribers. And there's some new people in the mentorship as well. And the support in the channel allows us to keep building and get the right message across to traders. And when I say the right message, you know exactly what I mean if you've been around here for a while, especially in an industry that does not share or promote the right message. So let's start with what really is tilt. It's very simple. All right, people, but not a lot of people understand it. You've been consistent for weeks. And I know many of you are going to be thinking, he's speaking directly to me. And yes, I am speaking directly to you. You have been consistent for weeks. You've been focused. You've been disciplined. You've been calmed. You followed your strategy. You followed your trading plan. You followed your journal. You followed your how many trades per day, lock yourself out, etc. Then one trade goes wrong. This is the beginning of the spiral. You break just one rule, just once, just one rule, that one day. And suddenly the floodgates just open. You've been there. You don't even know that you're in now this state. And I'm going to go into that deeper. But one bad decision just opens the floodgates to all the demons, all the bad traits, all the bad habits, all the history that you've been so good at containing now just comes flooding straight through the gate. You're not even aware. You chase, you double down, you fight the screen, you want to fight the market. It's like watching yourself self-destruct in real time, but you cannot stop it. You've all been there, and I'm laughing because it is torturous. At the end of this experience, it is torturous, tilt. It really is. That, my friends, is tilt. And I know a lot of you can relate to that. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. Now, tilt's not just frustration. It's a state. You're collapsing. You are absolutely, at that moment in time, just internally collapsing. It's a state collapse where your rational mind loses control of your emotional engine. Your rational mind loses control of your emotional engine. I mean, come on. There's some gems in here like there was the last video. So make sure you take these quotes. You stop trading the market and you start trading your state of mind. You're now inside. Before, when you was calm and you was relaxed and when you was focused and when you was aligned, spiritually, physically, mentally, you was outside. Now you are inside and you have no idea how to get out of it or even regain control. The trader is the trader's version of an emotional blackout. Now, many of you have probably had alcohol over the years, or some of you may have even taken drugs, especially in your teenage years. And there are incidences where you have blackouts. This is what it's like in trading. I do not suggest you do that now, but you may have done that in your teenage years or your wild years. And until you understand what's actually happening inside the system, you'll keep repeating the same loop. No matter how advanced your strategy is. I want you to just, I'm going to highlight this. As you know, I like to highlight things. I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to highlight this in red. And I'm going to put it in bold. No matter how advanced your strategy is. I want you to think about that for a moment, because you can have the best strategy in the world. You know, people talk about this 99% strategy, which does not exist, by the way, but you can have that. If someone found that, and if you cannot control tilt, it may happen one day a month and you can blow your whole month's profits. Your whole month's profits. It does not matter. You can have the best workout program, but you will never outwork a bad diet. The bad diet will always come and take over and ruin all your hard work. Trading exactly the same. So let's go and speak about the hidden mechanism behind tilt. All right. Now, this is where we're going to go on a deeper level of thinking. And the reason I'm starting to do these videos is because before we was doing them, and the interaction and the level of trader and the mentor, the mentees that we were working with was just astronomical. Some people in the community now, I mean, their level of intelligence is magnificent, and I love working with them, and they give my purpose every single day when it comes to trading. And then we went on the normal kind of, the normal mundane time of videos. So now we're getting back to these, because this is where the source is. This is where it's going to take you to that level that you really need to get to. All right. So what's the hidden mechanisms behind tilt? Now, tilt happens when your internal regulation loop breaks. When your internal regulation loop breaks. When things go your way, your cognitive system, which is the way that the mind works, the rational part, and your affective system, the emotional part, they all sync. They're all in sync. I speak about the state of flow, all right? And you may not have experienced flow that often in your life. I've only experienced it probably 3 or 4 times around when I was playing. And I can pinpoint those games that year when flow came. And they're the best performances I ever had in my life. That's when my cognitive system, everything around me, the affective system, everything, the apart was in sync. And that caused flow. Now, when it's going well, those are the things that are beautiful. You feel on top of the world. But the moment uncertainty spikes, a loss, a mistrade, a sudden market move, the system splits apart. And if you're not aware of that, that is the trigger that sends you straight into tilt. Let me say that again. The moment uncertainty spikes, which via a loss, you may have missed an entry, you may have entered a trade and it wasn't really for you and you lost. Sudden market movement, a Trump tweet, a news event you did not have in your calendar. The system completely falls apart right there. It splits. So here's the pattern. The cognitive system straight away panics because reality no longer fits into your prediction. I always say in my trade, I always say in the group, and I always say everywhere, we're not here to predict the market, ladies and gentlemen. We're not here. You are not here to predict the market. You are here to try and find your edge in the market and execute on that edge, regardless of the results. So the minute that you start trying to predict, the cognitive system panics because reality no longer fits your prediction. You're like, I wish this would have worked. Or why is this not playing out? I've done everything I should. Why is this not playing out? All of a sudden, you're going into a part of the mind that is going to destroy you. The next one is that emotional system. This reacts as if the threat or opportunity must be corrected immediately. So have you ever been in drawdown and you're like, why is it gone in drawdown? Why is it in the red? Why is it not going in the green? Everything's perfect. Why is it not going in the red? You're instantly starting to trigger fear, and you're not thinking straight. This is the emotional system kicking in. Oh, it's going down. Oh, it's going up. Oh, it's going in the red. I don't want it to go into the red. Oh, it's going in the green. This is your emotional system. This is now reacting as a threat or an opportunity that must be corrected immediately. It does not need to be corrected immediately, my friends. Allow the trade to have room. And then you have your ego system, which for me is going to be the one that crushes you. This is where you take the trade personally, interpreting it as a failure or an attack from the market. At that point, the loop that used to regulate your performance short circuits straight away. You're not evaluating probabilities anymore. And I always say, do everything in probabilities. You're trying to restore control, and you will never be able to restore control over the markets. Tilt is what happens when your mind stops trading data and starts trading emotion. We gotta highlight that. We have to highlight that. There's just no doubt. Tilt is what happens when your mind stops trading data and you start trading emotions. So let's then jump over to a little bit of a deep one. I love this bit. This is the conscious and the subconscious mind wave battle. Take notes. This is key. To really understand tilt, you have to understand the wave states of your mind. Your brain operates in electrical rhythms. This is a next level of thinking how the brain works. This is way beyond your normal nonsense, all right? There's beta or beta, wherever you are around the world, alpha, theta, and then delta. Each linked to a levels of consciousness. There's levels of consciousness, and I'm going to break them down here briefly. When you're trading calmly, you're mostly in high alpha and low beta. That's a sweet spot. High alpha and low beta. Whatever you want to say better, I'm going to say beta, right? Your conscious and subconscious minds are synchronized, focus, flow, pattern recognition, all balanced. And you say, I always say stress-free trading in my community. Stress-free trading. This is when you are in here. This is the high alpha and the beta. Okay. But what happens on tilt when stress or emotional shock hits? You spike into a high beta. Okay. The brain's emergency frequency. High beta. All right. The brain's emergency frequency. This is the fight or flight mode where the emotions are all over the place and you just constantly trying to get yourself away from what's actually happening. Your conscious attention narrows, tunnel vision sets in, and logic shuts down. All you can see is this must work, this must work, this must work. Why is this not working? Why is that not working? And you're not broad. You're so focused on the negatives that this is where tilt is the beginning. At the same time, your subconscious mind, the deeper layer that runs habits and emotional memory, begins pulling up old patterns. So your belief systems, your own way where you think the mind is controlling you, now all those old traits, all those old fighting or flight habits are now starting to creep in. They're now starting to creep in. Then we move on to obviously losses, past pain, mistakes, traumas, all the floods, all the things that I've just spoken about. They flood straight in. They flood straight in, okay, as stored energy. Your conscious mind tries to fight it logically. So you are trying to fight this in a logical way, but it's overpowered by the emotional charge from below. It's literally a wave battle between the layers of the mind. Conscious logic trying to stay in control, subconscious emotion trying to restore safety. Can you imagine this is what's actually happening chemically while you're trading? And most people have no idea. I would say 90% of people have no idea that this is actually happening. Hence why so many people fail. And people fail because they give up too soon. Now, when this obviously amplitude of those subconscious wave overwhelms your conscious control, you tilt. As soon as the subconscious overtakes the conscious, you tilt. This is why it feels like you are being hijacked and you have no control. You're not broken. Your brainwave pattern just shifted into a state that favors reaction over reflection. You are not broken. Your brainwave pattern just shifts into a state that favors reaction over reflection. And that's when you go crazy. And then you reflect at the end and you say, why in hell did I do that? The key isn't to resist the wave. That's not the point, okay? It's to re-regulate it, the brain, to bring your system back into alpha where clarity and composure and coherence return. That's what you need to do. You need to re-regulate. Okay, so what am I doing? Maybe you have a shot clock, okay? Maybe you can have a shot clock. When you get into a trade, put an alarm on for 5 minutes, put an alarm on for 10 minutes. Maybe there's something in the platforms that you use. Maybe when you take a trade, the first 10 minutes, you go and do 50 press-ups. Or you go and make yourself a matcha or a chai or a coffee or a, yerba mate, whatever it may be. All right. Maybe that's what you need to do to re-regulate yourself. All right. It's very, very important that you understand your own mind, because I can give you the best trading strategy. My trading strategy is so good. It's so simple, but it's so good. If you ask anybody that is in the community or anybody that is so good, right? It's simple. However, if you are not in control and you do not regulate and you do not reflect and you do not journal and you do not get other areas in your life in order, it won't work for you. It just won't work. And neither will the best strategy in the world from the hedge funds and down JP Morgan. It just will not work for you. So Let's dive into how tilt then destroys the feedback loop. Now, I've spoke about the feedback loop theory so much. It is a game changer in your life. Game changer in your life. Fitness, relationships, wife, children, business, everything. Everything. It will be a game changer once you study the feedback loop theory. But how does tilt destroy this? Now, trading is a feedback loop, so is life, right? And we like to look at it this way: market input. So we get the market input. What are we actually seeing? We then make a decision. That then leads into taking action. We then review that action, and then we must adjust from the review to get better. I have one strategy and one strategy only. And this is exactly what I do. Market input, I make a decision, I take action on that decision, I then review my decision, and then I have to adjust on reflection. All right. But during tilt, that loop completely collapses for myself as well. For myself as well. During tilt, because everybody will still go on tilt every so often, you just need to be aware and get yourself out of tilt very, very quickly, and you will get that the better that you get. Tilt collapses the loop. Why? Because when the conscious mind is flooded with subconscious noise, you stop receiving accurate data. You're no longer analyzing the charts. You're analyzing your pain. You're analyzing the uncomfortable situation that you are in. You stop looking for information and you start looking for a way out. You start looking for relief. I ask people to fill in their journals, and there is an option, relieved. If they click relieved, you know that that was a bad trade. You know that they were put in a bad situation and they were not thinking and they were living on hope. Now, your system runs on emotional bias. Once this happens, your system is now running on an emotional bias. I want to get the money back, revenge trading. I want to prove that I'm right because the market has done me over. I want to fix this loss from earlier, or I want to fix this current loss. You now believe that you can do these things. Okay. And the more you try to repair this feeling that you have through action, the further you drift away from the objectivity. If you think that your emotions and the things that you are doing based on your emotions is going to change the outcome, then you're just going further and further away. All right. And you're putting yourself in more and more pain. Tilt is feedback blindness. You can't get the right words out, people, right? You can't calibrate a system, a strategy in your attention is trapped in survival mode. I'm going to keep that in there, all right? I was just going to keep that in there. This is why traders look back at a tilt day and barely remember even what happened. I mean, that's crazy. It's crazy, all right? You weren't trading the market. You were trading their own cortisol. You was trading your own cortisol. And that's for another video. Cortisol is important, whether it's through sleep, whether it's through whatever. But that is a massive area in trading. All right. That was so funny when I couldn't get my words out. Now, this is key because now you need to identify who you actually are during these trading sessions. These videos are a little bit longer. And if you're not around for this, then again, you're not taking trading seriously, in my personal opinion. So let's look at the identity crash. Why you take it personally. This is massive. In fact, everything's massive. They're all massive. Okay. The reason tilt feels devastating isn't just the money. It's an identity crash. When you've been disciplined for weeks, you build a story. I'm a consistent trader. I think I'm getting close to this. Maybe even take a payout. I've evolved. I'm getting this. Maybe I can quit my job in the future or whatever you want to do. Then tilt hits and all that totally collapses. Totally collapses. And you're devastated. I've been there many times. You're absolutely devastated and you cannot get your head around why this keeps happening. You feel shame, you feel guilt, you feel self-betrayal. It's not just losing a trade. It's losing who you, my friends, thought you were. It's losing who you thought you were. That's an ego identity system in distress. Tilt attacks your self-concept because it violates your belief that you're in control. And that pain, that fracture fuels the system and the cycle even more. To heat it, you have to separate self-worth from performance. All right? Sorry, my wire's in the way. To heal it, should I say. To heal it, you have to separate self-worth from performance. Let's move this wire. Here we go. You are not the loss. You are not the tilt. You're the operator who's learning to manage an incredibly complex human system. Wow, wow, wow. I don't even know what color to put that in because it deserves a color that's not even on my chart. You're the operator who's learning to manage an incredibly complex human system. I got to let that sink in. So once we then go into tilt, how are we now, the big juicy part, how are we going to recover from tilt? So what's a framework? How we're going to recover? And this, I want you to screenshot this or take these notes because this is going to be important this week because more than likely someone watching this video is going to go into tilt. And I hope it's not you. Here's how you're going to stop tilt from erasing all your progress, all your great work, and your vision. All right. Step one, you're going to interrupt the wave. When you feel the emotional spike, you're going to pause immediately. Stand up, move, step away. You're not quitting. You're discharging the higher beta wave. All right. That's what you're going to do. You're not quitting. You're just recharging. You're going to move away and you're going to get back to where you need to be. Number two, you're going to reground the system. You're going to have a look at your breathing. You're going to have sensory resets. You're even maybe even have a short meditation. The goal is to bring your brain back to alpha, a calm focus. We need to be in alpha, a calm focus. A few deep demographic magmatic breaths and can literally change your brain frequency. Okay. Read that again. Read that again. A few deep diaphragmatic breaths can literally change your brain frequency. I mean, some of these words are even out of my vocabulary, but we're trying, people. We're trying. Now, step three, okay, we're going to reflect. We're not going to rationalize. We're going to reflect. Let's see, when you're calm, write what triggered it. That's going to be in your journal. What belief was violated? What did you completely crush in one of your belief systems? What did you do against that? What subconscious fear surfaced? Which fear came up? How did you feel? Was you anxious? Was it greed? Was it FOMO? Was it I'm not worthy? I don't deserve success? What was it? Okay. You're training awareness between conscious and subconscious layers when you're looking at reflection and you're rationalizing. Step four, rebuild the small proofs. So what do I mean by that? Reduce your position size. If you're going through an anxiety stage or a fear or you're uncomfortable, it means your size is too big. So reduce your position size. Trade smaller, trade slower. By the way, trading less makes you more money. Okay? Be more intentional when you're trading. You're rebuilding neutral trust, proving to your subconscious that regulation is restored. This is how professionals prevent tilt from becoming trauma. This is how professionals prevent tilt from becoming trauma. Now the close. Tilt isn't a weakness. It's an untrained state transition. Untrained state transition. Your conscious and subconscious minds are powerful tools, but only when they are aligned. The trader who masters their wave state masters their execution. The trader who masters their wave state masters their execution. What a line. Take that. Use it as your screensaver. Because consistency isn't built by controlling the market. It's built by stabilizing your internal frequency. So next time you feel a rush, that surge of tilt, remember this, my friends. And I need you to remember this. It's not the trade that matters. It's the state. It is not the trade that matters. It's the state. Step back, breathe, let the wave settle, return your conscious and subconscious are synchronized again. That's when trading becomes what it's meant to be, not chaos, but controlled clarity.